So let me introduce. So let me try to introduce Tom York. Tom, Tom, yeah.
Uh, can y'all hear
Tom,
me?
yes, sir. Thank you
Yes.
so much for being here this evening, sir.
Okay. We've got a lot of stuff to do today because I was absent last week. Uh,
We got all kinds of time.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to finish the. I'm going to put a little more brown on it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of water. Okay. There. All right. Now let's see if I've got it working right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we've got a little bit on there. I can't turn it up like that
Yep.
because it'll run. uh, you don't want to mix it too much like this. You want it to settle and dry where the blobs are, because if you roll it too much, it's just going to make a perfectly uniform surface. Okay, so I've just got that on there.
Yep.
We're going to let that dry. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the last piece of roofing on. Now that's the, now this is very special material. It comes from a restaurant. It's napkins. And it's almost like model airplane silk span. I'm not sure if that's available anymore because they use plastic now. But there's no pattern on it, and it's a thick material. So if you go out to eat and you get a napkin like that, don't use it. Put it in your pocket. But what we're gonna do, oops, okay, I'll use wherever my, I'm gonna use my big bristle brush, and we're gonna use white glue if we can get it to work. Okay. White glue is very forgiving. It's not going to show up in the finished model. Okay, I've just put it on there, and now I want to put some on the. Okay. And this is just painted flat black. Now it's kind of. Okay. Okay, now we can put it on. Now the tar paper does not go at a 90-degree angle from the roof to the parapet wall. It goes on a 45 chamfer. So what I've done is you can put a wood 45 in there if you want, but I just do it by eye. Um, uh, and you press it in. Now this can be, the sides can be trimmed later, but you want to make sure it's down there. And then you give it one more coat. This looks good and sloppy, but trust me, it works in the end. You want to make sure that you get the overlap uh, totally glued down. Otherwise, it'll start peeling up. And that's all there is to it. I mean, it looks terrible right now, but when it dries, it will disappear. So that's that part. Now, what I'm going to do here, the corrugated is put on, and it was just painted gray. It's not a it's a thin coat of gray, so it's not a perfect solid coat. And what I will use after that's dry is folk art metallic silver. You can see that. I have to store it upside down because it's impossible to mix. So the heavy stuff has to be at the top. Okay. And all I do is just, all we're going to do is there you go. Just put a little bit on. We're just trying to get some silver on there, not over the whole thing. That gives it just a little bit of gloss. And that, it there you can see the silver's not covering the whole thing. It's just a little bit on there. That's one thing. Let me try and quickly clean my brush. And I should clean this one. And this, of course, is not the way you clean brushes. Okay. Now what we're going to do is something that many modelers have not done, and that's put metal flashing on the roof. I use, let me get that. We're back. This is aluminum air conditioning tape. And this is great stuff. It has a backing. And if you use a razor blade, you can cut the little strips out. Don't cut it all the way through. If you do, you'll have to use a razor blade to try and pick out the surface. So all I did was, I will take that little piece. Okay. Whew. Now, I'm going to put it on the top of the false front. If I can see it. Let's see. Okay. It's just sitting on the top of the front. And what I'll do is I'll mash it down and I'll put it over, so it comes out over the front. And over, you can mash it down over the side. It folds upon itself very nicely. And then what I'll do is I'll just put it in the cracks of the. So that's your. I'll see if I can get another one here and put another one on. Okay, we've got that one on there. It's best not to use one piece because flashing doesn't come in 20-foot lengths. And just put it down over the and get the back in the corrugated grooves. And that's what you've got there. It's over the front just a little bit. Hard to get it to reflect. But that's done on the top, and it's also done between the tar paper and the corrugated, which I can't put on right now because it's wet. But it just gets folded, and you put it on in a small piece and just mash it down. Um, the next thing we're gonna do. Okay. This is what the decal looks like when it's new. Now, I will always spray dull coat over my decals before I take them off the sheet. It just makes them a little bit thicker. And this is the finished one where it's weathered. Now what I do, stores will sell little brushes like these. This is, what is it? It's $5.99 and it came from Hobby Lobby. But Michael's or Joanne Fabrics has them. There's about 5 or 6 little brushes in here, and those are very good to use. They're not artist quality brushes. They're just nice little brushes, and they'll last a good while if you clean them. Okay, now what I've got here, oh, that's pretty much dry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a little bit darker. All right, what I will do. First of all, okay, I got so many bright. This is one of my super duper patented weathering brushes. It's what happens to one of these brushes after a while. What I will do, this is basically going to be dry brush. You're going to use the paint full strength, but you're going to use a very, very little bit. See if I've got a little bit. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's a little bit on there.
Yep.
I'm going to try just a little bit more. Don't be afraid to obliterate a letter. I mean, it happens. Okay, there we go. And that's what we've got there. Now you can also do this in brown because you've got some brown showing through. And oh, I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, it's not going to go too well because I haven't mixed the brown. But anyway, and you can see where some of the brown is showing through. you should go over the top of that brown where the letters are and brown the letters a little bit. Over here it's really white, so there's no brown showing through.
Yeah.
Now what I do is take this little tiny brush. Ugh. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing, but I will just dot it. And you want a very small brush for this because all you're putting is little tiny dots on it. I don't know if you can see that on the R. Well, yeah, it's on the R. And I'll do the and there's the G. And we can put a little bit up here. And there's the it's on the W. But that's all you have to do to weather the sign a little bit. And you just do that with the whole sign. Now, where it is brown behind the letter, you can use brown paint and dot it slightly so the lettering blends into either the white or the brown, the painted wood or the bare wood. And that's all that's done there. Now we're going to do the rear wall. Okay, this is what the rear wall looks like. This is what I've got on it so far. Now I've used the same napkin that was painted black. And what I'll do is I'll just tear see what I got down here. Come on.
Tom, you said a few minutes ago that you spray your decals with dull coat before you remove the decals from the backing
Yes.
paper. Do you spray them again before you start weathering?
Yes, because that gives it a flat surface, and the paint
Got
picks
it.
up better on a flat surface.
And do you do it one last time after you finish your wet?
After it's all weathered, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what the little piece looks like.
Yeah.
And what I will do, uh, uh, without gluing your hands to the paper, okay, we've got a little bit of little bit of glue on there. And we'll blot it on.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got that piece. Now what we'll do.
Tom, we're almost out of time here, so I don't want to rush it because
Okay.
you come next week to finish it, but
Okay, well, we'll put one of these pieces on.
okay.
This is just a little chunk of wood. It goes over the joint. And it looks like that.
I'll be darned.
And if there's one final thing, this is a piece of that corrugated aluminum, which I will bend up a little bit. I will put, because the door window gets covered. Come on. Okay. And I will just mash that in there. And there it's covered. And then if I've got some quick uh, 1 minute here. Dry pigment. It's probably a good idea to go ahead and put a light coat of dull coat on here because it'll seal the surface and the dry pigment will stick better. But that's basically all there is to that. And I can quickly announce this. This
A1 taxi. That's something.
that's
That's going to be available when?
a copy about midsummer.
Okay.
It's a there's only going to be 20 available. 11 of them are gone already. It's taken from a real building, and this is just given it's a stucco front, and I just put some brown on here so you can see the detail.
You only got 9 of those kits left, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so if you want one midsummer, you better order it today.
Yeah.
Tom, we'll see you next week. Thanks so very much.
All right.
That's right.